Hey everybody, Chris with Killer Arcade Games here. Today I'm going to be doing some minor repairs, or I say minor. There's really not much that needs to be done to this KI cabinet, but it is my new Killer Instinct cabinet. It needs new Lexan or plexiglass over the control panel. It's got burn marks in it. We'll show you all that in a second. The controls are the original controls that came with the cabinet from what I can tell, and they really still work surprisingly, but I want to start with a nice fresh set of controls, so I'm going to replace those two today. And I think we're also going to do the T-molding, try to just do the entire cabinet again. I'm going to stick with the black color T-moldings. I want to keep this thing as close to stock as possible. First, we're going to start with removing the joysticks and all that, and I want to show you guys how to open the control deck. So how to open the control deck? That's a question I actually got on a comment recently when I got the cabinet. So you go in through the coin door, you reach up underneath here, and to the far left of the cabinet, pretty much underneath this part of the deck, there's going to be a latch. There it is. There's also going to be another one on the right side of the cabinet. I've already undone that one, but I just wanted to show you where to reach roughly. And then you can pull up on the joysticks and it opens up underneath the cabinet. I've already got a head start on this because the buttons and stuff were supposed to show up much earlier and they have not yet, but I've tried to just go ahead and mark the wires. Now I know the wires are color coded from the JAMA harness. I don't have the original manual. Sure, I could look it up, but for now I'm just trying to mark as many as I can. I think I'm just going to take them off and mark them as I go. And then I'll probably pull these off after that because I don't think I'll need to replace the controls anytime soon again. This is going to be in a personal collection and it's probably not going to get played enough to ruin the controls. I know my arcade 1-up cabinets with HAP controls are still running perfectly strong. In fact, I often make the joke about my arcade 1-up cabinets that the controls will be the last thing there once the cabinets have completely fallen apart. The HAP controls definitely outlast the cabinets, I'd imagine, in that case. What I'll do first is remove this thing here to get the joysticks out of the front, and then from there I'll just start marking the wires, I guess. Ugh, that thing was a little rusted on there. Wow, so you can see someone also burned this with the cigarette too. Very nice of them. This has definitely been in there since the cabinet was built. I'm almost sure of it now. Look at how filthy it is underneath these joysticks. I'm sure that's like 27 years of people's skin cells. I am noticing now, by the way, some of these micro switches have been replaced. The white ones seem to be the original ones. But for some reason on this joystick, I'll bet something was spilled in here and maybe it ruined some of the micro switches. Or it's just the fact that I'll bet the first player's side always gets played more. So I'm just noticing somebody has all but ruined the head of that screw, so I think I'm going to try to get it out with a flat head and really hope it works, because that's going to really hold me up if I can't get that out. Well, it wasn't that bad, but I was able to get it out, and I just noticed that somehow I got this out. Focus, there we go. So, well, this one's not too bad, but it's definitely getting rounded off, so I may look into finding new screws for it. Hopefully Lowe's has something like that. Well, I got it off. Look at how much dust is under there. I know that's got to be like 10,000 humans' skin cells. It's really pretty nasty, but it's cool it's off of there. I think I just dumped some in there. I think I'm definitely gonna have to go get new screws. I looked at all the ones that were on this one alone and they're all pretty chewed up. All right, the wiring's all pulled out of there. The sticks are out of there. I just want to take one last look at it. Cigarette burns, looking really nasty. I can't wait to see if the art looks good underneath. I think it will. I'll give it a good wipe down, but I think it's good after that. Now what's left is to use this handy button wrench, which if you don't have one of these, I'll leave a link in the description. These are probably tightened down pretty well, so you're probably gonna need this. It's like $7, $8. I don't know what it was. It's nothing expensive, but it's great to have. Make sure you tighten these things down really well when you put them back on too. So this is actually a cherry switch because it says it right there. I used to think that's just what people called them. When I worked in the arcade in high school, it was probably about, I think 2000 to 2002, but there was always talk of, oh, we need to put a new cherry switch in, a cherry switch, and I never realized it actually said cherry switch. I'm gonna assume the company is no longer around because I can't seem to find much about them. I could be wrong though. You guys let me know in the comments. All the buttons are out of the cabinet. As you can see, these dust covers are still underneath there, but next order of business is to get all these screws out and hopefully get this top piece off and see what's underneath. These use security screws, so you'll have to use a special bit that has a hole in the front of it there. And I know I'm upsetting some people by using a drill. All right, got them all off. I'm a little nervous to peel this up, but let's see what we get. If I can even get this thing up. Oh, yeah, it's coming up. I'll try to do it slowly so I don't remove any art. Because it seems like it's a little sticky underneath. Seems like something must have spilled on here in the past. I hate to have to replace this original art. Ooh. All right, it's off. Oh, and look at that. The art is actually really good looking. For reference, let me move the camera and show you this though. Look how nasty this is. So yeah, it's clouded, it's burned, it's done. But yeah, otherwise, I think the art's looking really, really good. I'm actually just gonna wipe it down really quickly. Let's see, does this piece come off yet? Oh, peeling the art up, don't do that. If you guys haven't noticed, I don't love filth. Not a germaphobe or anything, like it's not really, I don't have a problem shaking hands or anything, but after doing the job I've done for so long, which is pest control, I get to see how nasty people can be, humans, you know? And I'm not saying anything about like the guy I bought it from, I'm just saying there were probably 1,000 to several thousand people who actually played on this cabinet, so the idea that I'm touching all their nasty skin cells and filth, it just bothers me a little bit. Hopefully my problems don't become bigger as time goes on. The last thing I want to do is be Howie Mandel about everything. So I've decided I'm just going to have to take the whole deck off the cabinet. I'm removing all these screws here, or the nuts here in that case. Funny thing is though, when I tried to break loose the art from this, I saw this weird brown dust come up in the air and I was like, what the heck is that? I didn't want to smell it, so I waved it away. I came back later and as I was working on it some more, I was like, man, why am I tasting Dr. Pepper? Well, apparently someone spilled Dr. Pepper, I think, and it got up under this piece, and that's probably what I'm tasting and smelling now. So I'm gonna get this off of here. Probably a good time to replace the T-molding that's underneath it here anyway, and maybe even do some more work beyond that. This could turn into a much bigger project. All right, I finally figured out you had to take more than I thought off, but I think we're getting somewhere now with getting this thing off. You can see a little brown powder came out of the bottom. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Oh boy, there is a smell coming out of here. Oh, my art may be ruined after all. I'm just realizing this. After finally getting it off, I may have to replace it after all. This started coming up as I was picking it up for some reason. It's doing that on the corners. It's not something I want to have on my cabinet, so I may have to replace it. But a little bit of rust underneath here, probably soda. Well, now that it looks like I'm going to have to end up getting new art, I think it's time to just take advantage of having free time with the cabinet torn up and probably pull these out and either replace them or paint them. And in a move I stole from Mike at Your MK Arcade Source, I stuck these on some cardboard, Put them through there, and I'm just gonna hit them with some flat black paint. And then I'll put these washers on there and hit them too. All right, got it all spray painted up. It looks a lot better, I hope. We'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and put the deck back on, which is over here. I'm gonna put the wood on, put the dust cover under, and then put this metal piece back on for now until I get my new art. One of the coolest features about Midway cabinets is this, the fact that the dust cover is hidden and can still move freely underneath, but no one's gonna see the dust cover other than the tiny amount that's actually sticking out. I just love that little touch about Midway. You also don't see the bolts that are holding on the joysticks. All that stuff's hidden under the deck, doesn't interfere with the art. All right, I got the new art print on and the new Lexan overlay is on. Now I'm just gonna install the buttons. I'm not gonna record that portion. You saw the process of taking them off. You get how they go back on. I'll just update you guys when I'm finished. So for all of you guys who have never installed buttons before, it's actually really quite easy. The button goes through the hole on the front of the cabinet. On the back, you're gonna have your micro switch back here. Hopefully that focuses. And then you have your collar, which is kind of like a nut and holds the button in. I'll show you real quick. Go around the back, you'll see the button is here. It does kind of matter sometimes which way the micro switch is gonna point, but for now I'm not gonna bother showing you that. I'm just gonna put the nut on there. You take the micro switch, which the little button is here. When you press the button up here, these come down and press that little micro switch. Put them in. I always line up this first hole at the bottom. Pull this back a little bit. Oh, my button is not tight yet, but I'll wrench that down later. It's just for demonstration purposes. Push it into place. Test your button. From there, you can wire it up. Here's a quick non-tutorial, but me just showing you how it goes. So underneath the Plexi layer, underneath the art layer, which is a piece of metal, there is a cutout in the wood that lets you put the dust cover in. That's what's underneath here. That's already in, thankfully. You got to do that first. Here's the joystick. This piece is going to go underneath it, but you slide this collar onto it. The joystick's already mounted on the back. What I'm going to do is put it through the dust cover, find the hole in the joystick, press it through, and then go to work on the other side. This is going to be a little difficult to show, but on the other side, let's see, yeah, we put this collar over here. When this joystick is turned, this is what pushes the micro switches to tell the game which way you're pointing. The joystick, this little, I don't know what you even call this, like a horseshoe locker thingy. There is a tiny little thread or groove in the metal there. I've got it started, I put it on here, and then I'm gonna use a piece of, or a pair of pliers to actually cinch it down. Grab the open end of it and the back end, squeeze it together, and now the joystick's installed. You just gotta wire everything up, of course, so the game knows which way you're pointing. All right, controls are installed. You can see them there. I'm gonna set this down. We're gonna boot up the cabinet, make sure everything works. Let's see. No sparks, that's a good sign, right? All right, we're gonna go into the test menu really quick. Let's do a diagnostic test, switch test. We've got perfect, up, down, left, right, start, up, down, left, right. Start. All right, it all works. I think it's best to test it with some gameplay though, right? Sorry about the glare. I am in the garage. Let's test both sides, why not? I'll just do random here. God, these sticks feel so much better now, and the whole overlay feels so much better now that it's a brand new piece. Let's see. Nice. Let's try Glacius. I'm leaning over, so we'll see if I can pull this off. All right. Okay guys, this video went way longer than I expected. My plan was to show you some of the cleanup process, to show you guys the new T-molding, which I haven't done yet. So what's gonna happen now is I'm just gonna end it here. I think we're a good 13 minutes in or so already, and then I will make a part 2 of this, where I do replace the T-molding, I do clean the cabinet up, and possibly even replace the marquee art because it's kind of turned out to not be as good as I thought it was. But this video was productive. We got new controls put in, we got new art on the deck, even though I didn't want to put new art on the deck, but sometimes things happen and you have no choice. Massive thank you again to Retro Ralph for sending that deck art to me for free. He didn't charge me anything at all for it, so thank you very much, Ralph. I really appreciate it. He said he wanted to help the project move along, and he did just that. So thank you again, Ralph. Just by chance you don't know who Retro Ralph is, there'll be a link to his channel in the description, but you probably already know who he is. Come on, guys. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more arcade content. Leave me a comment letting me know what you think of this project. I think it's already looking and feeling a ton better. Just the new control deck feels clean, it feels smooth. The other Lexan cover was actually really rough and nasty, so it's very nice to have a nice new cover on it, nice new controls. Everything feels great. It's all 100% playable now, and I'm moving on to the next step soon. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video.